Observe in the hospital for a few more days. Apart from a mild concussion in the patient's brain, there is no major problem with other parts of the body. It seems that there are some people talking not far from me, but I can't hear clearly what they are specifically saying. My head hurts so much. There is a strong smell of disinfectant at the tip of my nose. I struggled to open my eyes and found myself lying in a luxurious single-person ward. I was in a daze for a moment, and then a large segment of memories came rushing in. "Are you awake?" Along with the deep voice, there also came a cold and overbearing fragrance that grabbed all my attention. "Smells so good. It smells so good. So good. So good." Although my memory is relatively unfamiliar with this smell, the subconscious physiological reaction of my body won't deceive me. After just smelling it for a short while, an extremely strong sense of excitement arose in my head. My breathing quickened, and all the cells in my body were shouting, "This is your Omega by nature. You should mark him. This must be the pheromone smell of my Omega little wife who is about to marry me and has a 99% compatibility with me. Since the two families have just signed the marriage alliance agreement, he and I only know each other's names. I know his name is Benjamin, but I know nothing about his appearance and personality. With such a nice-smelling pheromone, he must be a fragrant and soft little beauty. Let me, a top-level alpha, shoulder the mission of supporting the family and build a shelter for him." Hearing the noise, the medical staff came over and timely raised my bedboard. Only then could I clearly see the appearance of my little wife. Why is he not quite the same as I imagined? He is wearing a neat suit, with a cold and handsome face. His estimated height is over 1.8 meters, and his build looks like he can lift me up with one hand effortlessly. Why is he so tough all over? He looks more like an alpha than I do. It doesn't matter. I comforted myself. In the face of absolute pheromone compatibility, the mismatch in appearance is just a minor issue. I couldn't help taking another deep breath. I almost fainted again right after waking up from the overwhelming happiness. "Husband, you smell so good." Oh no, I accidentally said it out loud. He seemed quite surprised by my thought. There was a slight ripple on his icy cold face as he raised the corner of his eyebrow and said, "Say that again?" I sank deeper into the quilt. "Husband looks so fierce." "It's okay. A man who isn't afraid of his husband isn't a good spouse." Before the car accident, Benjamin and I were supposed to go to get our marriage license on an auspicious day in a few days. However, this unexpected car accident disrupted all our plans. Not to mention anything else, my current look with a bandage on my head isn't suitable either. Damn it! Benjamin briefly told me about the current situation. The driver who caused the accident took on the medical expenses and asked for a settlement. Our two families had an urgent discussion and decided to let me move directly to Benjamin's house for him to take care of me. We also planned to cultivate our relationship and get married once my head healed. My nose was filled with my husband's pheromone smell. I stared blankly at Benjamin's thin lips moving up and down. When he got thirsty from talking, his perfect lip shape would pucker slightly, which was incredibly attractive. What's that little mouth babbling about? I can't understand. I just want to kiss him. Anyway, after a few days, my family packed me up and sent me to Benjamin's house. Every corner of Benjamin's house was filled with the smell of his pheromone, which made my face turn red. I was like an unexpected guest who had accidentally entered a private domain. I was silently surrounded and wrapped tightly by the original aura in the house until my whole body was marked with his unique scent. Oh, so embarrassing. Benjamin looks cold, but in fact, he is a very gentle and considerate person. Although I have the strong physical constitution and excellent recovery ability of a top-level alpha, I still needed to stay in bed and rest most of the time in the first few days after being discharged from the hospital. To take care of me, the injured person, Benjamin has been working from home these days so that he can help me immediately whenever I need something. In just a few days, he has already gotten to know all my habits. When I lick my lips repeatedly, it means I'm thirsty and want to drink water. The next second, he will hand me a glass of warm water. When I want something, I just need to give him a look, and he will come over and ask me. When I first moved in, I always felt too embarrassed to ask him to help me when I wanted to go to the toilet. I often held it in until I couldn't stand it anymore and then told him shyly. After he helped me up several times calmly, I gradually relaxed and no longer felt so self-conscious. I was lost in wild thoughts. Well, we're going to be a legally married couple. It's okay to take a look at each other and help each other, right? Although I haven't seen his yet. I also don't know if he's satisfied with mine. When he takes care of me up close, Benjamin's pheromones have an even greater impact on me. Every time I secretly take a whiff and get addicted, I can't help but squirm on the bed like a cat after sniffing catnip. I like him so much. I really want to mark him and embark on the path of ultimate physical harmony with him. I want him to conceive a baby with our excellent genes. In the future, I'll definitely work hard and strive for the happiness of our little family. Moreover, I've noticed that whenever I look at Benjamin longingly because of his pheromones, he always can't help but turn his head away, revealing his smoothly lined neck and slightly blushing ear tips. Does this mean that Benjamin also has a crush on me? Men always have inexplicable confidence and then get severely hit by reality. I'm talking about myself. When my body had almost recovered, I no longer needed Benjamin's close-up care. So our relationship quickly reverted to that of somewhat familiar but not fully acquainted strangers. Benjamin no longer worked from home. Instead, he went back to his office, leaving early and coming back late, looking very busy. With my strange sleep schedule, I could only see him for less than an hour a day. In just a few days, the concentration of pheromones in the house had decreased significantly. But I really don't want that. In my heart, I've already regarded Benjamin as my husband. Looking at the empty house, I held up 3 fingers in a delicate gesture, on the verge of tears. I'm so heartbroken. I thought we'd always have things to talk about. This won't do. A man who doesn't take the initiative won't have a husband. So one day when Benjamin came home tired from work, I took the initiative to step forward and told him that I was completely recovered and we could go to get our marriage license. He gave my head a meaningful look and then slowly said, "Sure. When shall we go?" I pulled out the calendar and enlarged it. "I've checked. Tomorrow is a perfect day." The next day, my big red marriage certificate shocked everyone on my WeChat moments. I, Lucas, married my wife on July 22nd. Please be informed. Although my wife is taller than me, has more abs than me, and is richer than me, I'm sure I love him more than he loves me. Now that we're legally married, it should be okay to take a bite, right? But what if I'm not skilled at giving a temporary mark for the first time and I hurt my wife? And I should be given a chance to grow. But my wife has never said whether my pheromones smell good. Does he think I just want his body? But my wife really smells so good. So good. Finally, I summoned up the courage and decided to ask Benjamin for his opinion first. I was struggling and hesitating. I decided to use a roundabout way of speaking. "Benjamin, what do you think of the smell of my pheromones? First, confirm if my wife has feelings for me." "Pheromones?" Benjamin gave me a deep look. "Yeah," I replied nervously and silently straightened my back. It's been so many days. He shouldn't have not smelled it, right? Is it true that my pheromones are as faint as a bird's? After all, I've hardly ever smelled them myself. After a while, Benjamin said, "I've never smelled them." Okay, I'll just leave gracefully. But then I immediately came back not willing to give up. "How about getting closer and taking another sniff?" I stood on tiptoes and offered my neck to him. "This won't do. It's only fair. I'm almost soaked in Benjamin's pheromones. How can he have never smelled mine? How can he know if he likes it without smelling it? Take a sniff. Do you like it?" My feet were going numb from standing on tiptoes, but Benjamin didn't move at all. In my line of sight, his Adam's apple seemed to bob up and down. Then he suddenly pressed my shoulders and pushed me back to the ground, saying quickly, "I just remembered that there's a proposal I haven't finished reading. Let's do the smelling next time." After saying that, he fled back to his room as if there were wild beasts chasing him. This must be a sign of being disliked. Nothing is impossible in the world, but giving up is definitely not an option. As the saying goes, one has to humble oneself to pursue their partner. It's always like this in TV dramas. Having watched countless shows, I'm well versed in the tricks of those unscrupulous directors. However, after that incident, Benjamin seemed to start avoiding me again. On the deserted streets and in the empty house, I was alone at home, pondering over the problem of pursuing my partner. It seems that seducing him with pheromones won't work. Benjamin doesn't seem to react to my pheromones at all. It's no wonder, as I can hardly smell them myself. To pursue someone, one must first understand their preferences. Unfortunately, we haven't known each other for long, and I'm too embarrassed to ask him directly, so I have to resort to some roundabout ways. For example, I asked my childhood friend, Daniel, the social king in the wealthy circle of City A, for information. Daniel and I have played together since childhood. We know each other's embarrassing stories like the back of our hands. We're so close that there's nothing hidden between us. This guy loves drinking and going to clubs after he grew up. He's the top-level member of several well-known clubs in City A and has a wide social circle. After all, with the status of the Meng family, many people are eager to curry favor with him, so he's very well informed. In the eyes of outsiders, the young master of the Meng family is a dissolute and wealthy playboy. Only I know that the male models he hires are just for show. He just wants to show his half-brother, with whom he has a seemingly harmonious relationship, that he has no intention of competing for the family fortune and just wants to be a laid-back person. Who would have thought that Daniel is actually a pure-hearted virgin and still has his first kiss? However, he seems to be slacking off recently. Since my car accident, the frequency of our contact has been a bit lower than before. But it doesn't stop me from noticing that he hasn't been staying in the club every day recently. Instead, he went back to the Meng family's old mansion to live for a while, which is very abnormal. Well, the son has grown up and has his own little secrets from his dad. I made an appointment with Daniel to meet at the club he often goes to in the evening. I used to go there with him occasionally. Then he found out that I'm really bad at holding my liquor. I'm both bad at drinking and love to drink, and I've done a lot of stupid things, all of which this guy has recorded and often takes out to laugh at me. For example, I sang the classic songs of Phoenix Legend on a loop after getting drunk. For example, I thought I was a mushroom and wanted to squat in a dark corner. Finally, when he thought I was asleep and pulled me out from the corner of the sofa, he found that I was wide awake and had been holding back without making a sound, showing great self-discipline as a mushroom. The most hateful thing is that I didn't have any memory loss after sobering up. I clearly remembered every single stupid thing I did. So later, when there were some social occasions that required drinking, without me saying much, he would consciously come over to help me block some of the alcohol. I told Daniel in advance that I wanted to ask him something, so he didn't let those boys who often acted with him come over. After entering the private room, as soon as Daniel saw me, he affectionately shouted "brother" and then pounced on me. I politely took half a step back. "I'm married. Please behave yourself." Daniel widened his eyes and pretended to be hurt in an exaggerated manner. "That year when the apricot blossoms were gently falling in the rain, you said we were brothers. Maybe from the very beginning, it was all a mistake." Then he changed back to his usual mischievous look. "No way, Mr. Model Husband. Are you for real? Did you and Benjamin start a relationship of falling in love after marriage?" He suspiciously sized me up. "I just don't think, with your personality, you're not that familiar with him yet, right? How could he hit the nail on the head like this and be so hurtful?" I was so frustrated that I decided to get straight to the point. I opened a bottle of some unknown wine prepared on his table, took a gulp, and then began to pour out my loneliness of staying at home alone and the sorrow of failing to win my wife's heart. When Daniel heard that I failed to win my wife's heart, his reaction was even stronger than when I wouldn't let him hug me just now. You think you can overpower Benjamin? Are you out of your mind? He pinched the soft flesh on my arm. Look at the gap between you and him. It's more likely that he would call you his wife. No, it seems like I'm letting him off too easily. Seeing his pained expression, as if his own cabbage had been eaten by a pig, I knew he was up to no good. Come on, just tell me quickly. Have you heard from others what Benjamin likes? Daniel straightened himself up. He was always reliable in such matters and directly listed 3 points for me. Things went so smoothly that I was so happy that I drank a few more glasses. Then I successfully got myself drunk. According to Mr. Meng, the person involved, later recalled that at that time, I even calmly gossiped with him about why he had been staying in the old house these days and whether he was avoiding someone. He even thought to himself that could a car accident actually improve one's alcohol tolerance? Although he specifically chose wines with relatively low alcohol content. Based on my glorious past record, the amount I drank was definitely enough to get me drunk. Later, I found out that it wasn't that my alcohol tolerance had improved, but that my behavior after getting drunk had changed. That day, I acted as if I wasn't drunk until I got home. Daniel asked me several questions in a row and I could answer them all. So he sent me to my doorstep, watched me enter the password and go in, and then left with peace of mind. Benjamin rarely got home earlier than me. He was sitting on the sofa in the living room. When he saw me open the door, he got up and walked towards me. The smell of pheromones in the room became strong again. It was so fragrant that it made my head feel hot. Wait, hot. I belatedly realized that my whole body seemed to be burning hot. Benjamin. I reached out to him pitifully, wanting him to hold my hand. I don't know why he seemed especially gentle and easy-going tonight. It made me a bit bolder. I put my arms around his neck and pressed myself against him. His body was so cool, so fragrant. I really want to. Did you go drinking with friends? He suddenly spoke up and interrupted my wandering thoughts. Benjamin seemed to sigh. Maybe I misheard. Because when he picked me up by holding my buttocks, my mind turned into a complete mess. It meant that I was being held by him in a koala hugging a tree posture. I was holding his neck and was extremely close to him. Oh my God. I felt a bit shy and buried my head on his shoulder. My nose accidentally touched the back of his neck. It was like an electric shock, and half of my body went numb. A flash of lightning and fire passed through my mind. Suddenly, a word occupied my mind. Benjamin, I think my susceptible period has come. The more I thought about it, the more reasonable it seemed. I was burning all over, always wanting to get close to Benjamin and mark him. What else could it be if it wasn't the susceptible period? This time, Benjamin was very calm. Do you need me to help you with anything? Although it seemed a bit like taking advantage. Since we were already a legal couple, it was normal for him to help me through the susceptible period. I want a temporary mark. Before he could finish his words, he turned his head and kissed him. I pushed his face away a little. The few remaining brain cells I had died even more. No, I frowned. A temporary mark is, I bite you. I'm an alpha. You're not allowed to bite me. Okay. He readily agreed. Where do you want to bite? This posture made me a little taller than him for once, and I was quite satisfied. I held his face in my hands and carefully chose the spot to bite. It's no wonder that he is my husband. He looks good everywhere. His slender neck and the sexy Adam's apple bobbing up and down were tempting me. I remember that a temporary mark is supposed to be made on the back of the neck, right? Why isn't there a gland? I mumbled. I lowered my head and kissed the back of his neck, then tentatively bit it. I felt the body holding me stiffen, and the strength increased, as if he wanted to crush me into his arms. It seemed wrong. I was at a loss. I started nibbling and licking that area in confusion. It didn't relieve my susceptible period. Instead, I felt even hotter. Oh, it was because Benjamin was also getting hot. Wait, why are you getting so hot? I was extremely surprised and uncertain. Did I trigger your heat? Oh no, oh no. An alpha and an omega are alone. One in the susceptible period and the other in the heat. They're going to have sex countless times. The problem is, I don't know how. Benjamin's eyes were so hot that it felt like there were sparks burning me, as if he wanted to devour me. Don't bite randomly. He slapped my butt and started striding towards the bedroom with me in his arms. This development can't be what I'm thinking. Benjamin, I exclaimed. I don't know how to do it. He gently placed me on the bed and leaned over me. It's okay, as long as I know how. I wrapped myself in the small quilt and pondered life. I sobered up. The memories of last night were as clear as a movie I had just watched. The marks all over my body and the indescribable pain in a certain place indicated the fact that I was no longer innocent with the person beside me. Just because I don't know how doesn't mean I'm a fool. In last night's situation, I, a proper alpha, was actually slept with by my own omega? This can't be right, can it? Perhaps my confusion was too loud. Benjamin turned over and pulled me into his arms and gave me a kiss. Good morning, husband. I, for a moment, did not tangle, two eyes lightly, looked up and looked at him. You just called me right? Benjamin responded calmly. You said last night that from now on, I'm your omega. He lowered his eyelids to look at me, pouting and looking wronged. Or, do you not want to take responsibility? Were all those sweet words last night just to deceive me? My concubine, I cannot speak of it. I will, of course, be responsible. I am busy holding his hand promise. Lucas said to do it. Good honey, love your husband. He changed from good to good, and he changed it very smooth, and looked at me with a smileful eye. And now my turn, to shirk me, and I apologize, but only half a day, to whisper and say, love your wife. In return, the other party has a deep morning kiss. I finally got my wife back. Who doesn't have a wife? Anyway, it's not me. Since I had a physical relationship with Benjamin, my life has become even more comfortable. Benjamin no longer leaves early and returns late. The time we spend together at home has visibly increased. And we've also gone on a few dates. I don't care. This is definitely the honeymoon period. There's just a little disagreement when it comes to that kind of thing. I felt sorry for my wife getting too tired on top. Thinking that other alphas don't just let their wives do all the work like I do, I proposed to switch with Benjamin. Practice makes perfect. I'm no longer the inexperienced newbie I used to be. Now, I'm the powerful Lucas. But Benjamin always calls me husband and confuses me. By the time I come to my senses, I'm already pinned down. This damn soft-heartedness. So, my next small goal is to make my wife pregnant with my baby. But can an omega get pregnant when on top? I don't have much of an impression. Can't be that I, an alpha, have to give birth, right? Never mind. Since it exists, there must be a reason. So I secretly searched online for topics like how to increase the chance of conception. All I got were all sorts of folk remedies. Things like poking holes in condoms, holding it in longer, and even doing handstands. I worriedly thought, could it be that the quality of my sperm is too poor? After all, my wife is so strong that I'm almost half unconscious by the end each time. Although it's really great, if it happens a few more times, I'll be completely drained. After so many times, why isn't there any sign of pregnancy? My frowning for several consecutive days successfully caught Benjamin's attention. What's wrong? Husband. He quietly wrapped me in his arms. I'm used to his clingy behavior. I skillfully found a comfortable position in his arms, stroking his abs to relieve my worries. Wife, Why haven't you gotten pregnant with my baby after so many times? I angrily poked his chest and said, I've clearly tried so hard. Feeling the vibration in his chest, I looked up. Goodness. He was holding back his laughter so hard that his face turned red. Seeing that I'd noticed, he stopped holding back and burst out laughing. There was no trace of his usual cold and domineering CEO look. Sorry, he said. He gave my cheek a big kiss and said, Husband is really too cute. It doesn't matter. If we don't succeed, we'll just try more times. Who would have thought that my mind would suddenly clear up one night after some time had passed? At this time, I had just gotten into the warm bed that Benjamin had prepared. I was happily enjoying this cozy life with my husband when suddenly my head buzzed, and then I became completely sober right away. Then my toes started to curl as if I were digging into a Barbie dream house. Damn it! No one told me the side effects of the car accident would be so severe. ABO, pheromones, marking, and even wanting Benjamin to have a baby for me. And you, Benjamin, you knew I wasn't in my right mind, but you still played along with this stupid script with me. I think you're just as silly. Once I was sober, I immediately realized that the so-called pheromones I usually smelled were actually the perfume on Benjamin. It's just that my nose is as sensitive as a dog's. For some reason, I'm only sensitive to the smell on Benjamin. I can sense Benjamin's presence from afar just by the smell. Just like now, Benjamin's warm body pressed against me from behind and hugged me. He said pitifully, Husband, why after all this time, I still haven't conceived your child? Am I not working hard enough? With marks all over my body from neck to ankle, I pushed him away fiercely. Get out of here. Clearly, he's the one on top. If I try any harder, I'll get pregnant even if I don't want to. Husband. Sensing something was wrong, Benjamin realized what was going on. He sat up and turned me over. Then he locked eyes with me. I was on the verge of tears, secretly wiping them away. I glared at him fiercely as I thought, and said crossly, Do you think it's particularly fun to tease me? Benjamin is so amazing. A few sweet words can coax people away. Are you particularly proud of yourself? Benjamin visibly panicked. It's not like this, darling. Husband, please listen to my explanation. He stopped halfway through speaking, rolled out of bed, and knelt down in front of me with a thud. I was so startled that I even held back my snot bubbles. I stammered. No, what are you doing? Get up. I made you angry. This is what I deserve. He pursed his lips. The nearly 2-meter-tall man groveled. Husband, don't cry. Okay. It breaks my heart to see you like this. After saying that, he tentatively reached out to hold my hand. Seeing that I didn't reject him, he directly clasped my hand tightly, fingers intertwined. Report. The other party has used the skill, the T-suit cannonball. I was so flattered that I even automatically ignored the word darling he called me earlier. Well, I really fall for this kind of thing. After repeatedly assuring him that I was in a stable mood, neither angry nor going to cry, he was reluctantly pulled up by me to sit on the bed. He still held my hand tightly, as if he was afraid I would run away. No, was he this clingy before? Then I began to listen to his explanation. He said that at first, when he heard me talking about ABO-related things, he thought I was acting with him. It wasn't until later that he realized I seemed to be serious. He privately went to consult the doctor who had examined me before. The doctor said it was a sequela of the concussion. Generally, it would get better after some time. During this period, one should try to go along with the patient's ideas. Otherwise, it might stimulate the nerves. So he quickly made up for his knowledge about ABO and understood some of the jargon I babbled about. Wait a minute. I raised my hand to interrupt him. Then I noticed that my hand was still holding his, so I put it down. Even if it's to go along with me, there's no need to go to such an extent, right? I pointed to the marks on my body. Benjamin, although it was me who took the initiative during my illness, You could have refused me. I'm not the kind of person who forces others. Just call me Benjamin. Benjamin corrected me. Then he looked at me with a rare serious expression. Although it may seem a bit sudden to you, this arranged marriage wasn't just a whim of mine. Seeing his ears turn red, I don't know why I suddenly felt a bit shy too. I averted my eyes and didn't dare to look him in the eye. Lucas, actually, I've liked you for a long time. Benjamin said that the first time he saw me was at the 80th birthday dinner of the Meng family's patriarch. That was several years ago. I was still in college at that time. At that dinner, Daniel and I were bored, so we hid behind the small garden the whole time, secretly gossiping about his older brother. I was on the second-floor balcony and watched you for a long time. I was startled and nervously said, "Besides you, did anyone else notice us?" Oh my goodness. It turns out that the place we thought was hidden was actually completely exposed to others' view. Next time, I'll tell Daniel that it's not safe to whisper there and we should change to another place. He was stunned for a moment, recalled for a while, and said uncertainly, "There should be no one, right?" The previous atmosphere was mostly dispelled by my interruption. My mind was in a mess. I haven't figured out how to get along with Benjamin in the future. Actually, before you had the car accident, I planned to pursue you first and let you gradually accept me. Benjamin said softly, "But I understand. Plans can't keep up with changes." Who could have thought that later I wholeheartedly wanted him to be my wife? Husband. He buried his face in my palm aggrievedly, looked up at me and asked, "Can I still call you husband?" A sweet surprise. Lu Yumian is defeated. How can there be someone who understands me so well? How can I bear to refuse? Even if the King of Heaven comes, he's still my wife. Moreover, it's legal, stamped and sealed. My face turned extremely red. "Of course you can." He slowly got into the quilt and hugged me. "Can I still sleep hugging my husband tonight?" "Sure, sure." "You're already holding me and still asking me? Can I have a good-night kiss?" He stared at me with bright eyes, as if there was an invisible tail behind him. I leaned over and kissed him on the cheek voluntarily, then pointed to my own lips and said, "You'll have to wait and see how you behave in the future." "Okay, hubby. I love you, hubby." Benjamin looked regretful but knew when to stop. After a while, he couldn't help but ask, "Lucas, are we having a relationship after marriage now? How do you know so much?" I tried not to laugh but deliberately said, "Who's having a relationship after marriage with you? You're just working with a license for now. You said it yourself. You have to pursue me seriously." I poked his abs. "If you satisfy me, I'll agree to you. Can you stop telling me about your sweet love anymore?" Daniel wailed on the phone. "You guys are happy, but I'm still in deep trouble." I stopped contentedly. My throat was a bit dry from talking. "Daniel, won't you tell me what happened between you and your one-night stand? Don't bring up what I don't want to talk about." Daniel snorted. "That kid is still looking for me all over the world. Young people are like this. It's just a passing fancy. After a while, he won't keep bothering me. Oh, he's just being coy again. My wife's calling. I'll hang up." I quickly said goodbye to Daniel and then answered the call right away. Benjamin has to go on a business trip to another place these days. Poor me. I've only been in love for a few days and now we're in a long-distance relationship. "Hubby, I miss you so much." Benjamin has completely let go of his cold and cool guy image in front of me. His deep voice is so sweet all day long. My ears could melt 100 times. Since I got back to normal, we haven't done that kind of thing. Feels a bit awkward when we're sober. There was no sign of his face on the screen, just darkness. I asked in confusion, "Benjamin, what are you up to?" Then I heard the sound of someone unlocking the door with a password at the entrance. "What? Didn't you say you'd come back tomorrow?" I ran out of the bedroom barefoot. "Baby." Benjamin, looking travel-worn, caught me as I flung myself at him. He changed into slippers and let me step on his insteps. Then he lowered his head to kiss me and pressed his forehead against mine. With a beaming smile as if he couldn't get enough of looking at me, he said, "Do you miss me?" I gestured with my hands and said, "Well, just a little bit." I spotted the bag he was hiding behind his back and reached out for it. "Is this a gift for me?" But he held my hand to stop me. "It's a gift, but you have to wait until I take a shower. All right?" So mysterious. Then I was carried back to the bed by him and told to wait. Tut. Looking at his red earlobes and him carrying the gift bag into the shower room, I thought to myself what good thing this guy was planning. Then when Benjamin came out of the shower, I was completely stunned. "Lucas." He walked a few steps towards me and half squatted in front of me. His upper body was naked, and his lower body was just loosely wrapped in a bath towel. There was a black choker around his neck, and he was actually wearing a pair of puppy ears on his head. And they could move. Benjamin took my hand and placed it on his head. Looking into my eyes, he softly barked. "I had a dreamless night. Family members, I already have a husband and I'm very happy. Don't worry."